let's talk about offside entrances. So teaching a dog how to learn how to come around this pole in a really tight fashion. So in the last video when I was talking about the onside, I talked about the natural parabola that dogs do going into the onside. So now let's talk about the offside and learning how to do a 270 wrap around this first pole. So with that natural parabola I was talking about in the earlier video, when dogs come into the first pole, as they're coming in from the offside, their natural parabola generally takes them past the first pole and into the second, so between poles 2 and 3, or they'll travel even further down into poles 3 and 4. But usually it comes in between pole 2 and 3. And so it's a matter of teaching them. They're looking for the entrance, right? They've got the correct side of the pole, so they understand that part of it, but they don't understand the difficulty and the mechanical maneuver of powering down into a 24-inch space. So teaching them how to wrap this pole super tight so that they can continue in flow. And so when we're talking about the offside, also called the hard side or the hard angled side, when we're talking about the offside, we're asking our dogs to come and do a 270 wrap, a counterclockwise, always counterclockwise 270 wrap. When I'm looking at the difficulty, what it is it's not finding the entrance. They can do that. It's learning how to power their bodies down into collection to go and grab this entrance here. And so what I decided to do with Eli, I did a ton of experimenting with him. What I decided to do with Eli is I decided to isolate the mechanics of how to wrap this tightly on a 270. And I quickly realized that there was a difficulty for him in learning how tight to turn. So he was coming around and he was doing fine grabbing the correct side of the pole, but his natural parabola was taking him right out into pole 2 and 3. And so I isolated it to help him figure out how to mechanically shift his weight back and drop into poles 1 and 2. So let me show you how I do it now. So what I do is I decided to isolate the 270 counterclockwise turn on just a single pole. So utilize literally anything that you can, that's small and round, you can use. I've done weave poles, I've done regular jump poles, a broom, anything. And essentially, this is pole number 1. So this is pole number 1. My leg here is pole number 2. And so I'm gonna stand about 24 inches. So what I wanted him to learn is how to go around it and come through. So just creating the 270 turn of coming through. And what I wanna see from them is let me move over, make sure you can see what he's doing. Yeah, good. Is what I want to see is when he's done eating, does he come back and does he look at me or does he look at the pole? And so I want him, yeah, good. I want him to go and seek out the pole without me necessarily even saying anything. And I can even start to bring in distractions. Yeah, good boy. And teach him how to come around on that 270. And as I did in prior, where I over wrapped them or created the bend more extreme, I do that with a single pole as well. Yeah, good boy. And so once my dog has the idea of how to do the 270, they're going almost automatically around. I'll start to add in some distance. So when I do distance, I'm gonna send him out on a very visible cookie, a very visible get it, that I want him to go out and get it. And then I wanna see, does he come, when he's off the get it, does he look at me or does he look at the pole? I want him to look at the pole, especially if I start naming it. So I'm gonna send him on a get it, anywhere from any of these angles. I'm gonna send him on a get it. I'm gonna see what he does. Does he come? Yeah, good. Now I'm gonna send him back down as the weave poles are going, and then I'm gonna pick him up. Ready? Get it. Send him back out. Yeah, good boy. Send him even further. Get it? Yeah, super. Get it? Oh, those aren't very far. Yeah, super. Send him way out there. Get it? See what he does? Yeah, super dog. Once I've taught my dog how to go around and come through, I've also experimented a little bit with making it a tighter little bend here. For dogs that are really struggling, I really want to teach them the mechanics of going around real tight. I'll give them just a little bit less room, and I'll also over bend them. So I'll stand in front of the pole, putting the pole behind me to make sure that they're really wrapping around and coming around, learning how to dig in, learning how to dig in to the dirt or the grass and pull their body through that small gap. So once I've done that, and I've done it a couple of times, I'll repeat that exercise. Anytime that my dog is showing that they're not 100% sure, or just want to strengthen it a little bit, I'll do that in the house. I'll do it literally anywhere, just 8 or 10 reps, not very much, just to remind them how it feels to dig down and turn tight in a 270 rep. So once they understand that, then I want to put it back onto my 2x2s. I'm going to do the exact same exercise, but this time with both poles, but I'm going to start to show him what it looks like on 2 poles. So I'm going to try and show him in the very beginning the exact same picture. My leg was pole number 2. I'm going to make that pole number 2 again. So I'm going to come and stand in line with pole number 2. In the beginning, I'll go ahead and keep my hand out here just like I did when there was nothing supporting it. So I was the support. And I will start to ask for that same exact behavior coming in from all different angles. So as he goes, sending him down the 6 o'clock line and then picking him up on a get it. So sending him out on a get it, which is giving him more speed. Yeah, coming in. And what I want to see is when he comes back in on the get it, does he look at me? Does he look at the poles? Get it? Weave. Yeah, good boy. Yeah, get it. Super. So doing these get it from all different types of angles. Get it. And as far away as I think my dog can handle. So the further away he is, potentially the more speed is going to come in. Weave. Yeah, good boy. Once my dog understands the wrapping of the pole, then I need to get out of there. I need to become just his handler as opposed to the pole. So pole number 2. So I want to expose pole number 2, but I want to do it in a way that is going to help them be successful early on. And so there's a little bit of a training gap here. Come here. There's a little bit of a training gap here where they very much take me in, or the handler in, as a visual while they're learning their weaves. And we want to try and get out of that visual as soon as possible. Just like any target plate, manners minder, toy reward, it's all fine to put a target where you want your dog to head to, but we also want to train away from that target, that it's not always in the picture of what our weed pull entries look like. And so while I have no problem with doing targets and manners minders and all that, and I have no problem with me being in there to help him, to help the dog learn the initial mechanics of coming around that first pole, I also want to train away from that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back into pole number 2, and as the dog begins to wrap right through here, I'm going to step out of the way and expose this second pole. So I'm going to start with him on a get it. As he starts to go around, I step away and throw. Get it? Still throwing down my 6 o'clock line. Good boy. Now you notice he's kind of looking at me because that's what he hasn't gone back to this type of training in a while, but trying to get out of there, get it, as he starts to come in. And as he grabs it, As he grabs that pull, starting to pull myself away further and further. Get it? And seeing, adding back in distraction. You got it, bud. Weave, weave, weave. Yeah, super, super job. Once they're going around pretty good, they don't have to be perfect, but I want them fairly good, is I bring in my second set again. So again, we're still working the offside, and so I will have them, I'll go back to my step 2, and I'll just start throwing through that set, just to remind them or show them, and they have it off just a little bit to help. They go through, weave, and throwing it through the poles. If I don't make it through the poles, not a huge deal. Weave, good. And then I'll start to step off again. So asking my dog to weave, stepping off, and asking him to look at that second set. Weave. Yeah, good boy. Oh, you're out there. You're out there. Get it. Stepping in, watching them go around, stepping out, and extending. Good. As he continues to get better, starting to pull this again, back, putting pole number 3. Remember, this is just a guide. Putting pole number 3 back in line with the other poles. So let me turn the pole so you can see what it's starting to look like. Again, we're only working the offside now. Ah, good. Get it? Weave. Weave. Ah, good boy. Super. And as he gets it, starting to pull this one, again, trying to line up poles 1, 2, and 3. So as he goes out, get it? Weave, weave. Yeah, good boy. Super, super. All different angles, distraction. Weave, weave. Yeah, good boy. Until my 1, 2, and 3 is lined back up. The gap between pole 2 and 3 is approximately 4 feet. So depending on the dog, you know, give them a little bit more room. Start to pull this in. If they're doing well on the onside, start to move it over to the offside. So we'll do it again. Get it. Weave, weave. Yeah, good boy. Super, super. Doing rear crosses as well. Weave, weave. Yeah, super job. Good boy. And as he gets better, starting to turn this again. So as I talked about in the previous video, starting to turn it or making it tighter. And again, this is just working the offside, is covering that pole up, asking them to come round and through, and then starting to expose that pole.